At exactly 3:07 a.m., the kitchen lights were still on. That single detail made my stomach tighten. Levante was dark, chairs stacked, floors spotless, alarms armed. The kind of silence that only exists after a perfect closing shift. Yet a pale yellow glow leaked from beneath the kitchen doors. I checked my watch again. 3:07 a.m. I was the owner of this restaurant. Nothing happened here without my permission. Someone had either made a serious mistake or crossed a line. I pushed the doors open. Heat rushed toward me. Steam curled up to the ceiling like fog. Every burner was lit. Knives were aligned with obsessive care. Pots moved rhythmically, like part of a choreographed dance. And in the center of it all, a man, Marcus Reed, the quiet black prep chef. The one servers barely greeted. The one managers barely remembered. The one I had never seen speak above a whisper. His sleeves were rolled up. Sweat darkened his shirt. His movements were calm, precise, confident in a way that didn't ask for permission. For a moment, I just stood there. Then anger caught up to me. "What the hell are you doing?" I demanded. Marcus didn't jump, didn't panic, didn't apologize. He slowly turned the flame down and faced me. "Cooking," he said simply. "At 3 a.m? I snapped. "You're not authorized to be here after closing." "I know, sir," he replied. His voice was calm, almost respectful. That somehow irritated me more. "You could get fired for this." He nodded once. "Yes." I gestured at the chaos of heat and steel around him. "Then why are you still standing in my kitchen?" Marcus looked at the dish in front of him, lifted a spoon, tasted it, and adjusted the seasoning with delicate care. Only then did he look at me, because this dish wouldn't let me sleep. The smell finally hit me. Rich, deep, familiar, but sharper, better. And for the first time since opening Levante, I wasn't angry anymore. I was curious. I took a slow step into the kitchen. The heat wrapped around me like a warning. This wasn't casual cooking. This was focus. The kind that blocks out time. Marcus turned back to the stove as if my presence didn't matter anymore. He stirred a sauce gently, eyes narrowed, tasting again. "You always do this?" I asked. "Stay after hours?" "No, sir," he said. "Only when something's unfinished." I scoffed. "And who decides that?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he plated the dish carefully. Every detail mattered. The placement, the balance, the colors. It looked like something meant for a magazine cover, not a prep table at 3 a.m. Finally, he spoke. "The food decides." I crossed my arms. "You're a prep chef, Marcus. That's your position." "I know my position," he said quietly. There was no anger in his voice. No bitterness. Just truth. "I wash vegetables. I chop, I clean. I leave before service starts," he continued. "I watch other people cook what I could make better." That sentence landed heavier than he intended. I narrowed my eyes. "You think you could do better than my head chef?" Marcus paused, then nodded, once. "Yes?" Silence stretched between us. Any other employee would have backtracked, apologized, begged. Marcus didn't. He simply slid the plate across the counter toward me. "Then taste," he said. I hesitated. Owners don't get challenged like this, especially not by people who are supposed to stay invisible. But curiosity won. I picked up the fork. The first bite stopped me cold. Not because it was good, because it was precise, balanced, bold, familiar yet completely new. It tasted like memory and risk at the same time. My throat tightened. "Where did you learn this?" I asked. Marcus wiped his hands on a towel. "Paris," he said. "Lyon, Marseille." I looked up sharply. "You trained in France?" "Yes, sir." "And you're a prep cook?" He met my eyes. "Here?" That's all I was ever allowed to be. The kitchen felt smaller suddenly. Different. For the first time, I realized something uncomfortable. I had never once asked Marcus who he was. I set the fork down slowly. The dish still sat between us, steam rising like it had something left to say. "You trained in France," I repeated. "Under who?" Marcus hesitated, just for a second. Then he spoke names. Chefs I'd quoted in interviews. Legends whose cookbooks sat on my shelves. Men who didn't take students unless they saw something rare. My stomach tightened. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" I asked. Marcus shrugged. "I did once." "When?" "During my interview," he replied. I brought recommendations, certifications, photos. I frowned. I didn't remember any of that. You weren't in the room, he added gently. The manager said I was overqualified for the role, but that prep work would be more realistic. The words stung because they sounded like something we would say. Why stay? I asked. Why not leave? Marcus looked down at his hands. Hands that moved with discipline, confidence, restraint. Because I love kitchens, he said. And because every place deserves honesty on a plate. Even if they don't know it yet. I leaned against the counter, the weight of the truth pressing on me. So this, I said, gesturing around us, this is what you do when no one's watching? Yes, sir. I exhaled slowly. And tonight? He looked at the pot simmering softly. A dish I've been working on for years, he said. I finally got it right. I glanced at the clock. 3:42 a.m. You realize, I said, that if anyone else had found you here, you'd be fired. Marcus nodded. I know. Then why risk it? He finally met my eyes again. Because some things are worth being seen once, even if it costs everything. The kitchen was quiet. Not empty, alive. And for the first time since opening this restaurant, I felt like I was standing in the presence of something I didn't own, something I almost missed. Every station froze. I raised my voice just enough to carry. The chef who created the new signature dish stepped forward. Silence. Marcus stood at prep, knife in hand. Slowly, unsure, he stepped forward. This man, I said, has been cooking brilliance in silence. I turned to the staff. From tonight on, Marcus Reed is not a prep chef. The room held its breath. He is running this kitchen. Some faces lit up. Others hardened. Marcus looked at me like I'd just spoken another language. Later in the walk-in, he finally spoke. Why now, he asked. I answered honestly. Because at 3 a.m., you reminded me why I started cooking. 6 months later, the kitchen lights were still on at 3 a.m. But this time, no one questioned it. Levante had changed. Not just the menu, the energy. People listened more, argued less, watched carefully when Marcus spoke. His voice was calm, never raised, but the kitchen moved when he did. And the food? It became unforgettable. Critics came back. Then came others, quieter ones. People who never announced themselves. People who tasted, wrote notes, and left without applause. One afternoon, an envelope arrived. No return address. Inside was a single line. Congratulations. 1 star. The kitchen exploded. Applause, shouts, tears. Marcus didn't say a word. He just stood there, eyes fixed on the paper like it might disappear if he blinked. Later that night, when the restaurant was quiet again, I found him alone, wiping down the same counter he'd stood at months ago. Why are you still here so late? I asked. He smiled. Because I remember what it felt like to be invisible, he said. I don't want anyone else to feel that. I looked around at the kitchen, alive, respected, awake. And I realized something uncomfortable but true. The lights had never been the problem. It was who we chose to see.